Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, and certified community coach. Now, I want to talk to you, my productivity people, the people that value their time, the people that want to leverage their time, people that want a strategy versus just running all over the place. Now, you're looking at productivity choice. Now, you have a choice: create supply or demand, create versus consume, and assets versus activities. Let me explain. When you leverage your time, you think of assets. Give you an example. My friends at BNI go to there every single week. They do their normal thing where they give their 1 minute or their 30-second elevator pitch, and you got to listen through 30 to 100, depending on the size of the club. Then you have to have your one-on-ones. Then you have to do how many referrals you're passing that day. There's a lot of activity. Now, here's the difference. It starts and it's over. That's an activity. It's just a memory. Now, during that time, if you're leveraging your time, what you're doing is thinking assets. A house is an asset. A podcast is an asset. A magazine, a book, a video, a webinar, a trademark in whatever you want to trademark. Those are assets. Assets grow. If you bought a house in 1971 for $25,000, do you know what it'd be worth today? $500,000. That asset grows. Now, there's a little factor in there. We're devaluing the currency and printing more, but that's a separate issue. But assets grow. When I do a podcast, it's always there. I'm planting seeds, constantly planting seeds. And what do seeds do? They grow. So if you want to water your online assets, keep doing them. If you don't and you want to create activities, then you can show up for a coffee, for a lunch. When I do lunches, I like to do 3 and 4 and 5 people at the lunch, not just one-on-one. Why not introduce others to the people that you get together? Because you're leveraging your time. And when you can think assets and leveraging your time, let me put this up here so you can see it. You're always thinking about leverage, 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 leverage. We only have 24 hours each day. How you spend those 24 hours is going to determine what kind of success you're going to have. If you don't know about leverage, that's something I would lean into, learn more about it. When I do a podcast, it is an asset that never goes away. If you look up my name, Pete Kane, put the word podcast. Now, look up your name. See what the online world says about you. Probably, because it's just a small group of people that are taking advantage of this, you're not going to see much. And if you want somebody to go on a journey with you, to know, like, and trust you online, because if you start playing the right game and the local sandbox, picture that local sandbox, you got 140 people that know, like, and trust you in your local zip code. Now, if you step out and step into the global sandbox, now you're playing the online world. Now you're playing the global world. Now you're playing 5,000 to over 1 billion. Why not create demand where you can leverage your time? Life is precious. I found that out over 4 years ago when it was almost gone. Now I look at life differently. I look at life as a precious moment, a precious day. Everything is not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. There's people who are going to wake up and they're not going to be there because their life ended. We only have one life to live, so why not live it? Dream big. Make the biggest impact you can in the world. And when you do that and you learn how the difference between activities and assets, you're always creating assets. Search my name, put the word podcast, and you'll see 5 pages of Google. Now, before my stroke, if I got a client 2 listings of those 7 on the first page, because the old saying was, where do you bury a dead body? On the second page of Google, because nobody looks there. Now the world changed. If they're not interested in you, they're not going to your website. They're not looking for you in a whatever site you have. You have to put it front and center. That's why podcasting, videos, a book, a webinar, all these things are intended to start the journey of know, like, and trust online. So when you look at your time and you want to leverage it, learn how to get out of your zip code. You don't have to be everywhere. That's absolutely wears you out. When you think, I got to be at my BNI every week, I got to be at this meeting, I got to be at this, you're running around thinking you have to be everywhere, but you just have to be somewhere. And somewhere is online, because that's the demand. If you could have 140 people in your know, like, and trust sandbox, and you can look outside of that and look at the online world, which the global sandbox is your profile online, then you're looking at 5,000 to over 1 billion people. So if you're creating assets, you're putting assets out there, you're getting to know. We use podcasting as a flywheel. We're constantly learning, constantly putting assets out there. I constantly meet people. I see where I can help them, see where I can connect them. And I do it from the comfort of my computer. Now, I love to get out. I love to be around people. But every day, going to a meeting every week, but the only meeting I go to every week is my Rotary meeting. And that's a different type. That's people making an impact in the community. That's people making a difference in our community. But if you're networking and figure you got to be everywhere, I got to be there. There's a gentleman that publishes all the networking events. And then the color codes, it's like, I got to be this. I got to be at all these meetings because I got to meet people. Well, that's exhausting. And if that's your strategy, well, good luck, because you're going to be worn out, burn out. What you want to do is assets while you sleep. Create podcasts, create webinar, create videos, create things that don't go away. So while you're sleeping, your assets are growing. You want to be somewhere, and somewhere is online. Somewhere is your digital profile. There's a Daniel Priestley who wrote the book Key Person of Influence, 24 Assets, SCORE, and Entrepreneurial Revolution. I've read them all. The Playbook of the Lifestyle talks about this. Roger Dunbar. It's called 7-11-4. 7 stands for hours. That's the number of hours people have to get to know you online. They have to make 11 buying signals. That's Google's moment of truth. Buying signal is somebody saying, I want to know more. I'm interested in you. And I'm leaning into you to know more. If somebody's not interested, and you're just wasting your time. And then the 4 is 4 different platforms. A book, which I have coming out in a few weeks, a magazine, a video, a podcast, a LinkedIn post. Those are different platforms. When you go through the 7-11-4 framework journey, the brain just automatically shifts to know, like, and trust. A lot of you remember when Steve Jobs passed. There was such mourning. It was like you lost a family member. Now, why was that? Because 99% of the people never met him, but they knew him. They knew him for his transformation, for his products, for what he did at Apple. So they knew him from his online world. Same with you. You can create the assets so people can know, like, and trust you. The brain is amazing. It has 140 people that it knows, likes, and trusts. That's why picture a crowd across the street. You got 100 people there. Do you recognize those 100? You just see a crowd. But one person in that crowd who you know, like, and trust, the brain is familiar with that one person, so it can spot that one person out of a crowd. Now, take that to the online world, where you have thousands of people on a journey to know, like, and trust you, because the essential word to business is trust. And you can build trust online if you focus on assets and you focus on your online profile. When you do that, you're building and building, and you're leveraging your time. And you're not creating activities and memories, which they're great, but better to create assets, better to leverage your time, better to be somewhere, and somewhere is online. Now, if you want to know more, if you want to, let me say, you want to join our community at petecain.me/school, SKOOL. And the widget right there, if you want to book a global audit session with me, where we'll get down, roll up our sleeves, give you incredible value about what's possible. Then if we're a good fit for each other, I have a limited number of spots. It's actually 4. If we're a good fit and we can work together, and you want to make transformation possible from local zip code to global authority, and the future looks bright, then schedule it. Either that or go to, hold on here, go to petecain.me/SS and schedule a session today. The future is bright. You have one life to live. Live it with impact. Dream big. And lean into your life. Create those assets. Get the most out of your life every single day. If you'd like to be a guest on my podcast, I think there is a way. Just go to petecain.me and fill out a few information so I can be knowledgeable about you. And I'd be glad to have you on our show, introduce you to our community, and see how we can help you create assets. And when you create assets, your global authority goes up. You get out of that local zip code, which play the game of demand, global demand, and that's the one online. My name is Pete Kane. I'm a certified community coach, and I'd love to help you go from local zip code to global authority.